this bake sale to raise money to fund research and to find a cure for PANS. PANS stands for Pediatric Acute Onset Neuropsychiatric Syndrome. PANS is when the brain gets inflamed, and when it's very, very bad, it becomes very hard to talk. In 2017, I learned that my friend Ollie was sick, and I wanted to help him.
In April 2017, when Oliver was 6.5 years old, he got a fever, and he was sick for about 2 days. He missed about 2 days of school, and it seemed like
just pretty much overnight, his personality, or the person who he was gone. He became really anxious and really lots of OCD. Having a hard time separating from me. One night, there was in May, he had a rough night and he lost a chunk of time. He didn't remember a chunk of time that he did something, and he fell apart, started crying, and started saying, "Please take me to the hospital. Something's wrong, Mom. Take me to the doctor. I need to see a doctor." End of June, we saw the neurology department again. And Children's Hospital then said, "We don't know what this is. It might be purely psychiatric, or it could be severe autistic regression." He kept losing abilities, and specifically language and communication, and he became completely mute from July to beginning of September. No, it's not yummy.
He stopped riding his bike, he stopped playing the drums, he stopped doing kind of everything that he used to do. He was basically just a nervous mess.
Yeah, he would just walk around in circle around this table, and he had severe tics, both vocal and piano hand type of tics. We are already looking into PANS and PANDAS, and already asking those questions to these doctors, like, "Hey, can this be PANS or PANDAS? Like, I know you're not finding any markers, I know you're not finding all the tests are coming up normal, but can this be it?"
One of the main hallmarks is acute onset. So a kid gets sick, and then within 24 and 48 hours, there's just a complete change in the kid's behavior, which is exactly what happened to Ollie. When we learned that Children's Hospital wasn't really going to help us, we decided to go to a doctor in Colorado who does specialize in this. There's basically 1 or 2 people you can go to who are willing to treat children who present with all the symptoms of PANS and PANDAS. The treatments that he came up with, 1, Oliver got IVIG, which is really important, and number 2, Oliver got various antibiotic treatments, the idea being that there is an existing infection that isn't being treated. In December 2017, after having gotten some more treatments from Dr. Melamed, he said the words "Mom" and "Dad" probably for the first time in 6 months, which was amazing and also
just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The course of the IVIGs, we got them every 3 weeks, and he would get better for about a week or 2 and then regress back again. And there was this downward spiral.
They ended up referring us to a different neurologist who specializes in the immune system. And that led us to readmit Oliver to the hospital and actually redo almost all the tests that we did about a year before.
The way we convinced a doctor to listen to us and to take us seriously was by bringing literature, and also bringing video that we took of him prior to getting sick, and then videos that I was taking while he was he got sick.
Right.
We are actually gonna put some lettuce sand on it.
Something big?
Yes. Yeah. A dog for Christmas.
Real one?
A dog for Christmas.
Yes, if you want a real one.
Yeah,
you want a real one?
A real puppy?
Yes.
Real dog?
Yeah, for Christmas.
What is that? Is that what you asked for?
Yeah, it's a round book with no plagiarism.
Oh.
That's what I asked it for.
Awesome! High five! That's cool. What did you do at gymnastics
I
today?
walked on the pit.
You also jumped in the pit?
Ty, Matyldzia, będziesz tutaj spała w namiocie?
Making a tent.
Ja.
You can make a painting of our tent.
It showed, some of the difficulties we were seeing at home.
Ollie, take some deep breaths.
Take a deep breath.
Yes.
Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Stop screaming, love. Stop
Take a
screaming.
deep breath.
Yes.
Mommy.
I'm right here. I'm right here, Ollie. I'm right here.
Mommy.
I'm right here.
Is mommy coming?
I'm right here. This
Oh,
is.
you.
I'm right here, Ollie. Ollie, I'm right here. Mommy is right here.
And it just showed the remarkable regression, just how different he was. He had language before, that he had imagination, that he had the ability to connect, and all those things were gone. And I think that video was really powerful and what convinced them to finally take us seriously.
Ollie.
Oh, good job. High five.
So now that we were working with the doctors at Children's Hospital again, they were convinced that Oliver did need to be treated for PANS/PANDAS. We made a plan to try a couple of rounds of IVIG with them, and then if that didn't provide sufficient results, we would do plasmapheresis. And so that's effectively how things unrolled. We did IVIG a couple of times with them, and then ultimately we ended up scheduling Oliver's first round of plasmapheresis in July of 2018. So this is a year and 4 months after he first got sick. And this was the thing that just helped a lot. Right now, Oliver understands a lot of language, which wasn't the case when he was really sick. And he can happily participate in a lot of activities with us. He can ride his bike. This year he learned to ski, which was amazing. And he's making some progress in school.
Our biggest thing is language. Like, he's still doesn't have language back.
Playground.
It's important to understand that Oliver has not really come back to the person he was before he got sick, even now, even after all these treatments. I think one of our biggest regrets here is that Oliver didn't get adequate treatment early on, and it's actually really important for that to happen. So I think the future is very uncertain. Now, maybe it would have been uncertain even if he had gotten the treatment on time, but the fact that he didn't get plasmapheresis for well over a year after the onset of the treatment is we think really tragic, actually. And it's part of the reason why we want to educate the world about this.
There might be treatments that we don't have yet, and that's a huge part of why we want all of these research centers to focus on PANS, especially PANS Clinic in Stanford. Because they're already doing the work, and I know they're working on identifying and diagnosing, but also we need treatment, further treatment as well, and it's important that people support PANS Clinic in Stanford in order to further that research. We're very grateful to a lot of people in the community who've helped us on this journey, and one of them is Dana and Alexis. They've really stepped up by creating this fundraiser, and really Dana taking over, and Alexis reaching out to the Stanford Clinic and
Yeah, and so far I think they've raised like $30,000, which is great.
Yeah, so they have a researcher on board now, and now they're working to raise $15,000 to support the the research that they're doing.
I really hope that Stanford will find a cure, but it's not definite. Research is hope, and it's hope for Ollie and all the kids with PANS.